Say your name, high school, and year. And graduated.
My name is Matt Ruggiero. I went to Another Course to College High School, and I graduated in 2008.
And how did you end up at the high school you attended?
Okay, so Another Course to College, it's a Boston public school. It's a pilot that's through the BPS lottery. And so when I was in 8th grade, I visited ACC on like an open house and really liked it. I met the principal and really just like, it seemed like a good place. And so I applied for it, but I don't know if this is really a good story for it, but the school department actually lost my class's lottery results, so I didn't get in at first, but I lived in Brighton, so I got onto the wait list and I was in the walk zone, and so I pretty much was waiting to hear if I got in for most of the summer, and I found out in August that I got into ACC, and so went from there, but like pretty much spent the entire summer being really uncertain of if I'd get in, but really wanted to get there, and it worked out. So.
Describe your academic experience in detail, so the classes you took, teacher relationships, workload, and study skills.
Okay. Alright, so for ACC, it's a pretty small school. When I went there, it was 220 students. It was the first year that it was a full 4-year high school. And its big focus is on sort of critical thinking and writing as a preparation for college. And so really from like the first class I took there, all of the history and English classes are all built towards that, towards your thinking skills and how you develop that, your ideas in an essay. And so that was really the biggest focus that I had, both in my history classes and my English classes. Those were really tied together. There was just a really great faculty there, and because of what a small school it was, you got to know all of your teachers really well, and they were really invested in really every student's growth and really trying to prepare them for college. And yeah, I'd say that was probably the biggest part of it. It was a lot of work, it was really hard, but it was really grounded in the kind of culture of the school and the relationships you had with your teachers and your classmates.
Please describe your extracurricular experience in detail.
So again, ACC is a pretty small school, so there weren't a lot of really well-developed extracurriculars. We didn't have any sports teams because of how small we were, but again, because of what a small school was, there were opportunities for if you were interested in something, you could do it. There was a student government for as long as I was there. I also was part of starting a newspaper while we were at the school. You had an opportunity that we were right across the street from Brighton High School, and so because we didn't have sports, we were allowed to like play on their sports teams. So I ran track for 2 years with the Brighton High School team, and yeah, those were my main extracurriculars, were newspaper and track. And I also had a job, so I like worked a lot, so that kind of took up some time too.
Okay. What college did you attend and what did you study?
I went to Wesleyan University and I graduated in 2012. And while I was there, I majored in U.S. and Latin American studies.
And what do you do for a living now?
What do I do for a living now? I work for Citizen Schools. After I graduated, I was a teaching associate last year, and this year I'm starting my first year as part of the AmeriCorps Teaching Fellow. Yeah.
2 more questions. How do you feel your high school prepared you for college, career, next steps?
Great question. I think what's really, and I think I said this at the beginning about ACC, that it's really focused on developing critical thinking skills, and really as a focus of like that is what they feel is going to be most important to preparing you for being successful in college, is being able to really construct a strong essay that's going to really develop the ideas that you're making, to be able to make an argument. And that's something that we worked on in every class, every writing class we had, and I think that was the biggest thing for me when I got to college, was that I was able to really jump into any essay, any writing assignment I had for school, really worked well for that. It was also just a really great place for me, that I really loved the school, and it made me a lot more passionate about education than I was before that, and is a big part of why I work for Citizen Schools now and why I want to work in schools.
Okay. And finally, what advice would you give to 8th graders getting ready to enter high school?
I would say just try and learn more about what's out there. There's a lot of different kinds of schools and a lot of different pathways to take. You've got publics, but then within that you have pilot schools like ACC, there are charters, there are private schools, there are exam schools. There's all sorts of different kinds of schools, and the best thing you can do for yourself is really kind of learn what's out there and what's going to work well for you and apply to everything you can and kind of figure out from there.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was